In this video for section 1.1, we're going to review some things about graphing. And first we're going to talk about plotting points. So we have what's called rectangular coordinate system or the Cartesian coordinate system. We have two lines that intersect at right angles. They make the x-axis and the y-axis. And the point where they intersect is called the origin. So that would be this point right here. We have ordered pairs, which is how we represent points in the rectangular coordinate system. We have parentheses around the ordered pair. The first number is the x-coordinate. The x-coordinate we count along the x-axis, negative numbers to the left of the origin, positive numbers to the right of the origin. The y-coordinate we count along the y-axis, negative numbers are below the origin, positive numbers are above the origin. So if we want to plot these points, starting with A, negative 3, 5. Negative 3 is the x-coordinate and 5 is the y-coordinate. So we count over negative 3 to the left, that's the x-coordinate, and then we're counting up 5. And so that point would be right here. Point B is 2, negative 4, so 2 to the right, and then negative 4 would be down 4. That's right there. Point C is 5, 0. So that means we're counting 5 to the right for the x-coordinate, and 0 up or down means that it is right on the x-axis. Point D is negative 5, negative 3. So negative 5 is the x-coordinate, and negative 3 is the y-coordinate. Then point E is 0, 4. Now 0 for the x-coordinate means that the point is going to be up 4 and right on the y-axis. Point F is 0, 0. That's counting 0 on x, 0 on y, or in other words, that's the origin. So that's point F where the x and y axis cross. So next you should do checkpoint problem number 1. Do this in your notes, check your answer, and then move on with the video. Next we're going to talk about x and y intercepts. The x and y intercepts are the point where the graph crosses the x-axis and the y-axis. X-intercept is where the graph crosses the x-axis, y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. So looking at example 5 from the textbook, we're identifying the x and y intercepts. Now some books will have you identify these and write them as points in ordered pairs with the parentheses. Our book and our homework in My Lab Math, you're just going to write the number of the point where the graph crosses the axis. So for example, for x-intercept, the graph is crossing the x-axis right here at negative 1. So I would just type negative 1 into the box. You don't have to type it in as an ordered pair. The y-intercept, where the graph crosses the y-axis, is at 2. So in this case, for this graph, we have one x-intercept and one y-intercept. Now, that won't always be the case. You could have multiple x-intercepts, or you could have no x-intercept or no y-intercept. It just depends on what the graph looks like. So for B, I can see the x-intercept here is 3 because that's where the graph crosses the x-axis, but it's never going to cross the y-axis because this is a vertical line. It's never going to cross the y-axis, and so the answer here is that there is none. Now that's not the same as 0. If the y-intercept were 0, that would mean that it would cross the y-axis at 0, and that's not the case. So for C, my x-intercept is 0 and my y-intercept is 0 because the line is going through the origin. For D, in this graph, I have two x-intercepts, one at negative 2 and one at positive 2. So I would list both of those, separate them with a comma. My y-intercept is at negative 3. So next you should do checkpoint number 5. write these answers in your notes, check them, and then you can move on to the homework.